So hello, good morning or good afternoon. So firstly, it's my absolute pleasure to be invited to speak to you here today on behalf of the SITE Foundation. So my name is Selina Sinclair and I'm one of the SITE Foundation Board of Trustee board members for 2021. And I'm here today to share with you a little bit about one of the SITE Foundation's most recent research projects called Corporate InSITEs. So within the research and content team at the SITE Foundation, we've really focused our efforts this year on reaching out to the corporate decision maker. Of course, as we all try and navigate our way out of this COVID-19 pandemic, we really wanted to be able to bring to you as members and chapters and really the industry overall as much information as we could, and up-to-date information as we could about what's going on in the decisions being made within organizations right now. And our Corporate Insight series is really aimed at delivering that to you. So we have focused our first edition of Corporate Insights on the North American decision makers. We reached out to 100 North American companies to ask them a number of questions about really what's going on in their organizations right now. Would incentive travel continue to be part of their plans in the future? What's happening, if so, what's happening in terms of timelines? You know, when are they planning to go back to doing their incentive travel programs again? And has there been any impact in terms of the lessons that they've learned over the past 18 months that they'll be applying to their incentive travel design in the future? So I'm going to share with you over the next 7 or 8 minutes what those companies have been telling us as part of our first Corporate Insight survey. We did launch that survey to organizations in April of 2021. And we will continue to reach out to that same group of companies a number of times throughout this year and into next year. So we can continue to share with you as much up-to-date and relevant information we can as to what's going on with their plans and how that might impact you and your organizations in the future. So we asked this first question really to get an indication of consumer confidence. Are these organizations planning to travel and continue to use incentive travel as part of their strategies to motivate and reward their employees moving forward? So we wanted to find out, do companies really have support within their senior management teams to resume incentive travel programs again? And this really was the first really positive output of this Corporate Insight series. As we saw that 93.75% of companies did say that their senior management is 100% supportive of resuming incentive travel again. So of course the first really positive sign of recovery for the incentive travel industry and those involved in it. So with this second question, we really wanted to get an understanding of the impact that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on the type of reward programs that these companies are running in 2020, 2021 and 2022. So it came as no surprise, of course, that 71% of companies did say that they pivoted to another type of reward program in 2020. But we did see that 31% of companies are planning to resume their incentive travel programs in 2021. With 82% of companies telling us that they plan to resume their incentive travel programs in 2022. Only 2% of companies did tell us that they have permanently pivoted to another type of reward. So that really gives us also a lot of confidence that we should see the North American market going back to doing their incentive travel programs strongly by 2022. So now that we've understood that companies are planning to resume incentive travel again, we know that by 2022 we should see a lot of North American companies resuming their programs. You know, when are they coming to our destinations? So we did also ask companies to tell us the split between when they're planning to resume their domestic meetings and incentive programs and their international meetings and incentive programs. So remember, these are North American based organizations, and they did tell us that they would resume or have resumed most of their activity domestically by Q2 of 2022. But in terms of international meetings and international incentives, the timelines for these companies are more between Q2 of 2022 towards the end of 2022, with a small number of companies saying, look, we won't be resuming those programs until 2023. So in terms of international recovery from the North American market, we can expect demand start to resume towards the middle of next year, ramping up through to the beginning of 2023. So now that we understand a little bit more about timelines, we wanted to start to deep dive into the actual programs themselves. So we asked organizations three main questions. The first question was in relation to destination selection. So now that we know that they're going to be traveling on their programs again, we know when we can expect them to be coming to the international destinations again. What is it that's going to be in their selection criteria moving forward, and has that changed? And you can see on the screen here, we asked companies to rank for us what are really the most important decision criteria that they're going to use in choosing their future destinations. And I think it comes as no surprise that they've told us that safety and security really is the number one concern in the minds of organizations right now. We did see, of course, that destination appeal, infrastructure and access remain key in their decision-making criteria. But safety and security and our ability to communicate what organizations can expect when they arrive in our destinations is really going to be key to both the selection of our destinations, but also in resuming confidence of these North American companies to resume their international travel and incentive travel programs again. So the next question, again, was regarding program design. And we wanted to ask companies, what do they consider really the most important success factor for their incentive travel programs in the future? And quite interestingly, which we've not ever seen in past studies, and I think that comes from a lot of the learnings and a lot of the pain, I think, that was experienced when COVID-19 started within the industry, is that contract and risk management now has become the most important success factor, and getting those contracts right and finding the balance between risk mitigation and shared responsibility with the supply chain is really one of the most important things that companies are going to be focusing on and that they want to achieve as they start to go back into contracting their programs globally again. We did also see for the first time that better analytics is now a really important success factor for companies. So working with companies to make sure that we can apply the learnings and continue to collect good data to improve their events in the future is now an important success factor that companies are going to be looking for solutions from the industry around. So for our final question, we wanted to start to enter a little bit the conversation around hybrid. We saw earlier that 82% of companies did pivot to either a virtual incentive program or another type of reward during 2020. But is there a future for hybrid in the world of incentives? We wanted to understand if these companies have any intention to continue to start to look at integrating hybrid or hybrid elements into their incentive travel programs in the future. We know, of course, that hybrid is impacting and will continue to be part of the meetings industry moving forward. But what about the incentives industry? Is hybrid something that we can expect companies to start to look at and include in their incentive travel program and design? And I know particularly on this topic, there are a lot of opinions in the industry about you can't have a hybrid incentive, or other companies I know are already looking at integrating incentives and hybrid into their incentive programs. But in this first report, we just wanted to get a really first understanding about are companies even considering hybrids in their strategies moving forward. And we did see that a number of companies, 50% almost of companies, are not. But there is a large number, 37% of our respondents did say they do plan to incorporate hybrid elements into their incentive travel programs in the future. So in closing, I just want to share that SITE has produced a white paper that is available to download on the SITE Global website, where you'll have access to all of the information that I've shared during this afternoon session. And in addition to all of the data and content of the reports, there is also further commentary that has been provided on the results from both the DMC, destination agency and hotel sector. So we do hope that information is really useful to you and your businesses. As mentioned, This is just the first of what will be a 3-part series. Do look out for the next series of results, which are due to be published in September and October of 2021. And thank you for joining.